Mostly it is loss which teaches us about the worth of things. That's Arthur Schopenhauer. And today I want you to hold that thought in your mind like a little stone in your pocket. Let's talk about letting go, not just the idea, but the real, deep power that comes when you finally unclench your fists. Have you ever tried to hold on to something so tight, maybe a dream, a job, a person, that your hands start to ache? Why do we do that? Why do we grip so hard even when it hurts? Think about your day. Maybe you check your phone for likes, or worry about your grades, or replay a fight in your head. That's holding on. Maybe you want people to see you a certain way. Maybe you want to be the best at work, or the perfect friend, or the one who never messes up. That's holding on too. Schopenhauer saw this everywhere. He grew up in a world full of change. His family moved, his father died, his mother was distant. He learned early that nothing stays the same. He watched people chase after money, praise, love, always wanting, always clinging. He saw how it made them suffer. He called it the will, that endless, restless urge inside us to grab, to control, to never let go. But here's the twist. The more we try to control, the more anxious and tired we get. It's like trying to hold water in your hands. Psychologists say this need to control is deep in our brains. Even babies want to choose, to decide, to feel in charge. It's natural. It helped us survive. But when we try to control everything, our friends, our future, even our own feelings, it backfires. The stress goes up. The joy goes down. Did you know that nearly 80% of people in surveys say they feel stressed because they can't control enough in their lives? That's almost everyone. And it starts early. Attachment theory says we cling to our parents for safety when we're small. That's normal. But as we grow up, we start clinging to other things, our jobs, our image, our routines. We think, if I just hold on tighter, I'll be safe, I'll be happy. But the truth is, the world keeps changing, no matter how hard we grip. Have you ever noticed how holding on to a grudge, or a mistake, or a fear just makes it bigger? It's like carrying a heavy backpack everywhere you go. Schopenhauer's own life was proof. He lost family, friends, and even his reputation at times. But he learned that real power comes not from grabbing, but from letting go. He said, "It is difficult to find happiness within oneself, but it is impossible to find it anywhere else." So why do we cling? Because our minds are wired for it. We want to feel safe, to know what's coming next. But here's the secret. Letting go isn't losing. It's freeing yourself. Imagine your mind like a room. If it's packed with old stuff, worries, regrets, what-ifs, there's no space for new things, for peace, for real power. When you let go, you make space. You breathe easier, you see clearer. But letting go is hard. It feels scary. Our brains tell us, if you let go, you'll fall. You'll lose everything. But most of the time, the opposite is true. The cost of not letting go is high. More stress, more sleepless nights, more fights with people you care about. Studies show that people who can let go, who can accept what they can't control, are less anxious, less depressed, and even physically healthier. Schopenhauer wasn't just talking philosophy, he was talking about life, about learning to live lighter, to stop fighting the current, to float sometimes instead of always swimming upstream. So I want you to ask yourself, what are you holding on to right now? What would happen if you loosened your grip just a little? Remember, letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means choosing peace over struggle. It means trusting that you'll be okay, even if things don't go your way. You don't have to do it all at once. Start with one small thing, one old worry, one tiny fear. Let it go, see how it feels. Because real power isn't about controlling everything. It's about knowing you don't have to. That's the first step. That's Schopenhauer's gift, and it can change your life. Ready for the next step? And let's keep going. Let's talk about a trap that almost everyone falls into, the trap of attachment. Schopenhauer called it the will. It's like a never-ending itch inside you, always wanting more, never truly satisfied. When you want something so badly, maybe a new phone, a perfect grade, or someone's attention, it feels like you need it to be happy. But here's the secret: the more you chase, the more you suffer. Think about social media. Have you noticed how scrolling for likes or checking who watched your story can make you feel anxious or left out? That's attachment in action. Studies show that people who feel anxious about relationships use social media more and get more stressed by it. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole at the bottom. At work, maybe you want to be the best, or you worry about what your boss thinks. If you always feel you have to be perfect, it's exhausting. Research says perfectionism and the need for approval can lead to burnout, anxiety, and even depression. In friendships or love, if you're always scared someone will leave, you might cling tighter. But sometimes the tighter you hold on, the more things slip away. It's like squeezing sand in your fist. The harder you squeeze, the less you keep. Schopenhauer believed this endless wanting is the root of suffering. Even when you get what you want, it doesn't last. Soon you want something else. It's a cycle that never ends. Psychologists call this the illusion of control. We think if we just try harder, we can make everything perfect. But life doesn't work that way. Trying to control everything makes us more anxious, not less. Here's a cool insight from Jung. Sometimes what bothers us most in others is really a part of ourselves we haven't accepted. This is called the shadow. When you get mad at a friend for being stubborn, maybe it's because you're stubborn too, deep down. We project our hidden feelings onto others, making relationships more complicated. Surveys show that people with high anxiety about relationships are more likely to get addicted to social media, compare themselves to others, and feel lonely. At work, perfectionists are more likely to burn out and feel like they're never good enough. Here's the paradox. The more you try to hold on to people, things, or success, the more you risk losing them and losing yourself. It's like holding your breath to keep the air. You can't do it forever. So why do we do it? Because our minds are wired to seek safety and control. But when we chase after control, we often end up feeling more out of control. Remember, attachment isn't just about loving someone or liking something. It's about believing you need it to be okay. And that belief is what creates suffering. But you're not alone. Almost half of all people feel insecure in their relationships. Many feel anxious, burnt out, or like they're never enough. It's not just you. The good news? Once you see the trap, you can start to step out of it. You can learn to loosen your grip, little by little. And that's where real power begins. Ready to find out how? Let's keep going. Let me tell you a story that might sound a little bit like your own. Imagine holding on to something so tightly, a friendship, a dream, maybe even a special gift from someone you love. You hold it so close because you think letting go means losing a piece of yourself. That's what happened to someone I know. She had a beautiful lamp her mom made, and when she had to move, she just couldn't let it go. It wasn't just a lamp, it was memories, love, and a part of her story. Letting go felt like saying goodbye to her mom, even though that wasn't true. But the more she tried to keep it, the heavier it felt. Have you ever felt like that? Like holding on is hurting you more than helping? Maybe you're stuck in a friendship that drains you, or you keep hoping someone will change, but they never do. You think, if I let go, I'll lose everything. But sometimes, holding on is what's causing the pain. There comes a moment, a breaking point, when you realize you're carrying too much. You're tired. You can't sleep. You feel stressed all the time. Your mind keeps spinning, and your heart feels heavy. That's your body's way of saying, enough. Our brains are wired to fear losing things much more than we enjoy gaining new things. That's why changing jobs, ending a relationship, or even moving to a new place feels so risky. We overestimate how bad the loss will feel and underestimate how good the new beginning could be. And here's another trick our minds play on us: the hedonic treadmill. Imagine running and running, thinking you'll finally be happy when you get the next big thing, a new phone, a better grade, a perfect friend. But as soon as you get it, the happiness fades and you start chasing the next thing. That's why no matter how much you achieve or collect, it never feels like enough for long. All this chasing and holding on takes a toll. You might notice you're more anxious. Maybe you can't sleep well at night, or you feel tired even after resting. Your relationships might feel strained because you're always worried or stressed. But here's the truth. Letting go isn't about losing. It's about making space for something new. When you finally set down what's weighing you down, you can breathe again, you can sleep better, you can feel lighter and more free. So if you're at your breaking point, remember, you're not alone. Everyone feels afraid to let go sometimes, but real power, real peace, comes when you trust yourself enough to open your hands and let go. That's when you make room for the life you truly want. Now let's talk about what happens when you finally decide to let go. Schopenhauer had a big idea. Real power comes from acceptance and surrender, not from fighting the world. Imagine you're holding a balloon. If you squeeze it too hard, it might pop. But if you just let it float, it rises on its own. That's what acceptance feels like. You stop trying to force things and suddenly life feels lighter. Schopenhauer learned that when you accept what you can't control, you free yourself. He called this surrender. It doesn't mean giving up. It means saying, okay, this is how things are right now. I can handle it. Let me give you a real-life example. There was a student who always wanted perfect grades. She studied all night, worried about every test, and felt sick with stress. One day, she realized she couldn't control everything. Not the questions, not the teacher, not even her own nerves. So she decided to do her best and let go of the rest. She felt so much lighter, and guess what? She started doing better, not worse. Or think about someone who lost a job. At first, it felt like the end of the world. But after accepting it, he found new hobbies, made new friends, and even started a business. Letting go made space for something better. Here's where Carl Jung comes in. He said we all have a shadow, parts of ourselves we hide or don't like. Maybe you're scared of being weak, or you don't want to admit you're jealous sometimes. When you accept these parts instead of fighting them, you get your energy back. You stop wasting time pretending and you start living honestly. So, how do you actually do this? First, practice awareness. Notice when you're gripping too tight, when your jaw clenches, your stomach knots, or your thoughts spin. That's your signal. Next, try reframing. Instead of thinking, I have to control everything, tell yourself, I can handle whatever happens. It's a small change, but it makes a big difference. And don't forget self-compassion. Be kind to yourself. Everyone struggles with letting go. You're not weak for feeling scared. You're human. Did you know that people who practice acceptance and mindfulness are less stressed and more satisfied with life? Studies show they sleep better, have better relationships, and even get sick less often. Letting go isn't magic. It's a skill you can practice. Each time you do, you get a little stronger, a little freer. So what would happen if you tried it today? What if you let go of just one worry, one old story, or one fear? Imagine how much lighter you'd feel. That's the shift. That's real power. And it's waiting for you. Let's get practical, because letting go isn't just an idea. It's something you can actually do step by step. Ready? First, stop justifying your grip. Notice the stories you tell yourself when you're holding on too tight. Maybe you think, if I let go, I'll be lost, or I need this to be happy. These are just stories, old habits your mind learned to keep you safe. But you're not your stories. You can watch them, question them, and gently let them go. Start by catching yourself when you start to justify. Pause and ask, is this really true? Or is it just a habit? You'll be surprised how often you're just repeating old fears. You don't have to believe every thought your mind throws at you. Now start affirming your worth without waiting for anyone else to clap for you. You don't need likes, gold stars, or applause to know you matter. Self-validation is like giving yourself a high five inside. Say to yourself, I am proud of my effort. I am enough, even if nobody notices. This isn't just feel-good talk. Neuroscience shows that affirming your own value can actually rewire your brain to feel stronger and more confident. Try this. Every day, write down one thing you're proud of in a journal. Don't wait for someone else to notice. Notice it yourself. Over time, this builds a deep well of confidence you can draw from, even when life gets tough. Choose your peace. This means setting boundaries and practicing detachment. Boundaries are like invisible fences that protect your energy. It's okay to say no. It's okay to step back when something drains you. Practicing detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop trying to control everything. You let things and people be and focus on what you can control, your own actions and reactions. Here's a simple tool. When you feel overwhelmed, pause and take a deep breath. Remind yourself, I can only control me. If someone's actions upset you, remember that's about them, not me. This is the heart of the let them theory. Let others do what they will, and you focus on your own peace. Let's talk about some psychological tools that really work. Mindfulness is one of the best. It means paying attention to what's happening right now without judging it. Notice your breath, your body, your thoughts. Just watch them come and go like clouds in the sky. When you practice mindfulness, you catch yourself before you spiral into old habits. Journaling is another superpower. When you write down your worries, your hopes, or your struggles, you start to see patterns. You can spot what's really bothering you and let it out instead of letting it build up inside. Even a few minutes a day can help you feel lighter. And then there's cognitive reframing. That's just a fancy way of saying, change how you look at things. When you catch a negative thought, ask yourself, is there another way to see this? Maybe instead of I failed, you say, I learned something new. This simple shift can turn stress into growth. But let's be real, letting go isn't always easy. Sometimes you'll slip. You might find yourself clinging again or feeling afraid. That's normal. The key is to notice it, forgive yourself, and try again. Setbacks aren't failures, they're just part of learning. Every time you practice, you get a little better, a little freer. And remember, you don't have to do this alone. Talk to a friend, write in your journal, or reach out for help when you need it. You're building a new habit, and that takes time. So here's your challenge. Today, notice one story you tell yourself about why you have to hold on. Question it. Then affirm your worth. Write down one thing you're proud of, just for you. And finally, choose your peace. Set one small boundary or practice letting go of something you can't control. You're not just learning to let go, you're learning to live lighter, stronger, and more free. That's real power, and it's yours starting now. Let's bring it all together. Letting go isn't about losing. It's about finding your true strength. When you stop holding so tight, you discover you can stand tall, even when things change. Schopenhauer showed us that real power lives inside you, not in the things you cling to. When you accept, when you surrender, you unlock a freedom that no one can take away. Think about it. Every time you let go of a worry, a grudge, or a need to control, you make space for peace. You make space for joy. You make space for the real you. And here's something simple but powerful. I want you to write this down. Today, I choose to let go and trust in my own strength. Say it out loud, feel it in your heart. This is your promise to yourself. Remember, every step you take, no matter how small, counts. You're building a life that feels lighter, kinder, and more true to who you are. If this message helped you, if you felt a spark of hope or a moment of relief, I invite you to subscribe. Join this journey with me. Every week, we'll explore more ways to grow, to heal, and to find your real power. Thank you for listening, for showing up for yourself today. I'm grateful for you. You're not alone on this path. Letting go is the beginning of something beautiful. Your story is just getting started. And real power, it's already inside you, waiting for you to claim it.